Okay, what's happening, my construction entrepreneurs? Tyrone Jones back here again. This time I'm going to kick off a video and we're going to dive into what you should look for when selecting the right project for your company, your construction company to bid on, right? For me, um, I stay with small companies. I usually build small partnerships. I like to stay small. You make a lot more money with that. I don't like the overhead, and I think you can do a lot more with just having just four field employees. You know, one person working in the office or at their home, and I just get a lot more production out of everyone, and things are a lot quieter. And I can build like four of those little small companies and be happy and continue to do whatever I want to do. So let's go into my process when I'm looking for work, bidding on work, and the different platforms I go on to find work. Now, one thing I want you to realize is that I used to be a numbers guy, right? Now I'm talking about I know my numbers on business side. I'm good on that part. Overhead, labor burden, profit, risk. I know all that. But I used to be the guy that said, I go somewhere, see another fellow business owner, and I would say, man, you know what? I just bid on $2 million worth of work this week. Now I just bid on $10 million worth of work this week. And that's what I mean by me being I used to be a numbers guy. I used to share those numbers all the time. And I fell into the little rat race or the rut, if you want to use that word, that sharing those numbers, it looped me into this circle of always produce high numbers because you're only going to, for every 10, you're going to get one. I think that's bullshit. Those are not my statistics. But I used to feel that way. I used to be in that circle that felt that way. That's why I did those high numbers. And what's different now is I spend more time looking for the project than bidding on the project, right? See, once you get established and you understand how to build rates, you understand your labor burden, you understand your overhead, especially as a small construction entrepreneur. Remember that overhead number fluctuates, right? It goes up and down depending on what your sales numbers are, depending on what your projected sales numbers are, right? And you can do a comparison from the year before, the year prior to that, to kind of get as close as possible to that number as you need to be without overshooting it. That way, you don't want to overshoot it and you be, low on your overhead percentage. So I usually take a lot of time with finding those projects. Forget that bid on 10, I land one, bid on 20, I land three. No. I bid on 5, I'm going to get 4 of them. Okay. And the reason why I'll get 4 of them is because I look for the projects that fit me, one, now as a business and where we're going as a business, right? So now as a business, what that looks like for me is where my foremans are at, right? Where do they live? How far do they need to travel? What equipment do I have to travel with? What vendors do I have in that particular area? How quickly can I mobilize, right? That fits me in the noun, right? And there's some other factors there as well. What fits me where we're going is looking at the amount of jobs that I can do, right? Where we're going, our projected sales number at the end of the year. what we need in the bank, what we need to make, for my partners, for everyone being involved, my private investors. Like, I need to hit those numbers to make sure that I get there, right? Also, too, adding more employees, right? Getting to a point where we need more equipment, more vehicles. So that's where we're going. We're getting that. We're getting that company to, from level B to level C. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean growth. I'm just throwing out some options out there. So where we're at now and where we're going, and trying to figure out what's in between there. Okay, where we're at now, where we're going, and everything in between there. And that's what I focus on. So I spend a lot of time looking for the right projects. And then once I find it, I plug it in, and I'm doing 300, probably a 500 to 800 to $1 million project in 3 to 5 hours. And that's with doing my takeoffs, because with my estimating system, you do your takeoffs as you bid. So you plug in those numbers as you go along. So, I'll just sit down and plug this thing out. And then I'll do another class on, I don't print out plans no more. I don't know who really does that. I know the construction entrepreneurs that I know that's out there doing business like I am. Probably half of them are still printing out plans and marking them up and things like that. But what I do is I usually pull mine up on PDF, and I'll use a measuring tool on PDF. I'll do a class on that as well. I'm recently looking into, what's that program? It's BlueBook. Recently about to look into BlueBook, because that allows you to mark up the PDFs and manipulate that in different ways, do takeoffs and things like that. So I'm still looking into it, but I mainly just use Google Earth and the PDF tools on there and things like that. And I'll probably do a class on that too. So I do have a plotter where I can print out plans, but only print out plans if I'm awarded with the project. So without wasting any more time, let's get into what we're looking for when we're selecting these projects, okay? So, all right, so this one here is the BlueBook. Now, this is construction BlueBook, not the audio BlueBook, right? This is construction BlueBook here. In the construction BlueBook, now this one is set up for categories, right? It's set up on region, county, city, classification codes, and things like that, okay? You can set yours up however you want to. I'm more of a cement concrete guy, as you guys all know. So mine is dealing with everything that deals with on the street side, from turnkey, from traffic control to grinding and capping, curb and gutter, grading work, demolition, cleaning up, paving, new pavement, seal coating, and things like that. So that's what this page for the BlueBook is covering. Now, BlueBook is good, right? But we do have to understand what BlueBook is doing here, okay? Now, and we're going to get into these other platforms too. I got 2 other platforms I'm going to share with you as well. And one is AGC, and another one is the Dodge Report. Dodge Report I recently just purchased, and I'll get into a story about that. But the BlueBook here, if you look at these jobs here, you see City of Pasadena, right? local government job. Bid date is pre-bid date is 11/2. Bid due date is 11/16. So it's due tomorrow, right? That's what that shows it. So or due today. I don't know why it says due today and it has the 16th here. Anyway, so today is the 15th. So anyway, so this one's past due. So you see here, asphalt, lunch area. That's at a school district. Miscellaneous concrete improvements, most likely throughout the city of Pasadena. There's another school bid here. Emergency repair of North Street. Another roadway repair. So you see that here, and it gives you, when the days is bid, name of the project, local government, and what you'll see here on this platform here is this platform is mainly designed for subcontractors. Okay, what you will see here a lot. Well, you can do subcontractors, and you can also do GC as well, right? You can do subcontractors and you can do GC as well. So this one here, you can see the bidders list here. Who's actually going for it now? What's messed up? Well, I wouldn't say messed up. Is that CSA subcontractor suppliers list, right? So that's the subcontractor supplier list, but I don't have a general contractor list, right? Who's the general here? Who can I bid? And that's the problem with this system here, is that if you're going to bid as a sub, it may work, and it may not. Now, also too, you have to realize that all these projects are leaning more toward public works, right? Now, when you have to understand this too as well. When you're doing public works, you have to have a DIR number, most likely. Well, you have to have a DIR number, mandatory, whether if you're bidding as a prime or as a sub, right? But you also need to be bondable if you're bidding as a prime on public works jobs, okay? Because they're going to ask for your bid bond, performance bond, and payment bond. They're going to ask for all that, right? And then standard percentage for bonding is 3%. Now, I have done other videos. Check my YouTube channel, where I talked about the difference between the bond that the Contractor State License Board requires you to have and being bondable, okay? Being bondable and the bond that the Contractor State License Board requires you to have is two totally different things, okay? So remember, if you're bidding on public works as a prime, you're gonna need to be bondable, okay? You have to find out from your bond company or another insurance agency, or contact me. I'll have someone that can actually see how much you can be bondable for, or even if you qualify to be bondable. So reach out to us on our, hit me up on the email, and I'll forward someone your way, okay? So these projects here is a lot of times you will see this is set up for subcontractors. Okay, how you hack this program to where you can, because the goal is to bid. If you want to bid as a sub, the goal is to give your bid to as many general contractors as possible. That's the goal, right? You don't want the singleton bids, right? Unless that contractor is given that job, then yes, we give our bid to that singleton contractor. But if that contractor is just listing that job because they're in a competitive bidding, market for that job, then, then we want to know who are the other GCs bidding on this project, because I want to give my number to them as well, right? Because somebody is going to land this project. So if I only know one GC that's been on this project, and I do numbers, now I'm only turning into one GC, and it may be 9 other general contractors that I could have turned my number into. I'm wasting my time. It's a big time waster. So you may have to hack this a little bit, and how you hack it a little bit, you see the city of, you see where it says San Bernardino? You go to the city of San Bernardino website and you look up the RFPs, request for proposals, and you see if they have an RFP page, and then you can actually see who are the plan holders, who are the generals and things like that, and then you can actually turn your number into more general contractors, which and you know, heighten your chances of getting that project. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to go to the city. See, it says Alhambra here, Palm Springs, Inglewood. You want to go to all these cities here, El Paso, the Robles. So you want to go to that city and see if they actually have a bidding page on the city website. And you just have to, you know, hack this a little bit so you can make your time work as well. So these projects here are most likely projects that require you to be bondable. Now, you don't have to be bondable as a sub. And unless you're just dealing with a large project, you know, 5 mil, 6 mil, that means that, you know, when it breaks that work down for that sub, you know, your work is probably going to be 800 to a mil. So they're probably going to require you to be bondable to bid on a project like that. Okay, so we look down here, we got, see here, here's another company here. So here's a company here, Excel Paving, just listed out this project. So they're looking for, looks like they're looking for some firms, some DBE firms here. I'm thinking here. It's a federal number, so it's probably Davis Bacon wages. DBE disadvantaged business firms are invited to provide quotes as a subcontractor, vendor, or supplier. So as you guys know, there's a lot of projects out there that requires the general to give a certain percentage to minority contractors, right? Or to DBE, disadvantaged business enterprises, right? DBE contractors. So they have to, you know, maybe 5% set aside, maybe 10% set aside. You know, like a lot of Caltrans projects, they set aside a lot of percentages for disabled veteran. Okay, so here it is. Here is a general contractor listing his project on here for subcontractors. And that's what you'll find here a lot. You know, here's another one here, a Dollar General, you know, rebid in Joshua Tree. And I kind of stay away from rebids, you know. I try to get a little bit more information. Why is it going out to rebid? I'll if I really want that project and I feel like that project is right for me, I'll even call an estimator and ask a little bit more into that. Try to be quick, try to be in and out, you know, don't hold anyone up. Just be very to the point. If you have an email, send an email out. That'll even work. But if you can call, ask, hey, why is this being rebid? You know, was numbers too high? And kind of get your own feel for it, then you can go for it or not, okay? Here's some more Walmarts. This is where I recently did a video of me going from 1 Walmart to 11 Walmarts. And this is where I found one of my general contractors were listing to Walmart on here and wound up landing a few stores. I bid it on some work with these Powerhouse Retail Services here. They're not an approved contractor, but I think they're working toward it with Walmart. So here it is. Here's another general that's looking for subs. So you can actually bid on this job here. Now, look at this. See this project here? And I can probably find this somewhere else too. I can probably find this project as a GC on the Dodge report, right? Because Dodge report allows you to bid on projects as a GC. And we'll get into that once we jump to the Dodge report. But this one here, see, I actually bid it toward them because I assumed they were they had that project. Just like the other general contractors that I did Walmart's for, they were approved contractors for Walmart. So Walmart gives them 25 Walmarts every year. They get 25 Walmarts every year, and they're approved contractors. So I know for sure they had those projects. With this one, I assume they did. They actually told me they did. I spoke to someone in their office several times. They had a very hard time sending over several different plans and the specs, and it was a real hassle. But anyway, they're not approved contractor, but I think they're working toward it. You know, probably be good for me to reach back out to them and see what I can do for them. But that Walmart Supercenter here in Chula Vista, California, 11 days to bid, you probably can find another GC or a handful of GCs that's also bidding on that Walmart, and then turn it into those GCs. Okay. So this one here is listed to owner, so you can actually bid as a prime here to the city. You know, it's a state project, road improvements. You can bid to the owner as well here. So that's what you see here. You know, and then when we click on it, it tells a little bit more about this project. So it's in various locations through Santa Fe Springs. I used to love doing projects like that where you had all around the city of Santa Fe Springs, you got all these potholes and sidewalk repairs, curb and gutters. And it was a real joy for me to get out a big map. Sometimes they give you a map within a spec book, but I'll get a map book and put dots all on it, label this thing out, and group them together all in the same vicinity and maximize my guys' time. And we'll just go out on these jobs and I'll blow the doors off this job here. The only problem with these jobs here was that a lot of contractors were leaving a lot of money on the table. Leaving money on the table means that there's a big gap between the lowest bidder and the second bidder, right? So the lowest bidder gets the project, and then the second bidder, he's next in line in case that first person don't work out, right? Well, leaving a lot of money on the table is, you know, when there's a big, 20, 30, 40 grand in between those two numbers, even 100 grand in between those two numbers, that means that the lowest bidder left a lot of money on the table between the second bid. So you see a lot of that on these because a lot of people lose their shirts on there. They really underestimate, the restrictions they have, like not knowing where to park your equipment. The city really bans you from parking. Some cities ban you from parking your equipment on the street or leaving it overnight, leaving piles of base in the street overnight. But what I usually do is I'm very selective on those projects. I'll find an empty yard, empty backyard, side yard, someone I can rent something from, and I could just park my equipment or haul material there, and I'll just pick it in different areas. You always find some empty lot, back of an apartment building. You can take over 2 stalls. On side of 7-Eleven. I mean, it's just a number of places that you can just set up little small micro yards and house your equipment, your materials, and just keep moving along and knocking those projects out. So that's what this is about here. Okay, as you see here, there's more projects here, more days to bid on there. As you see, a lot of these will be bidding on public works as a prime. Now, remember, if you're not set up to do public works, then you need to remember to get set up. You can always give us a jingle, send us an email. You want to start learning how to do public works projects, we'll go ahead and help you out and start pointing you in the right direction to get your bonds in place and make sure your assurance also meet those minimum requirements. Okay. And then also here, they got the plans here. They got the specifications here. Excuse me. They got everything here. Okay. You can see who also is bidding on this project to see things, due dates, and then most likely you can get the project information there. All right, let's go to the next one here. Okay. You guys have any questions about this one here? This is the BlueBook. Anyone can sign up for the BlueBook. A lot of times they'll give you free access. or a lot of times you got to pay for some type of advertising ad. Okay. So here's another one here. Now this one here, unlike the first one we just looked at, this one here is this is the AGC. Now AGC is the Associated General Contractors of America. Okay, this is the San Diego chapter. So with this project here, this unlike the BlueBook, the BlueBook, unlike the construction BlueBook, this one, there's no categories. The construction BlueBook had me listed under categories, so I can, kind of filter through these jobs a lot faster. This one here, which I like, is it shows all types of jobs: interior, exterior, new build, renovation, IT, everything. Okay, TI. IT, huh? It shows all different types of projects. So you just literally go through these projects. You just scroll down. Of course, you can set filters on here and go for different cities and bid dates, when it's due and things like that. But I usually mainly focus on the location area for now. I'll look at something that's close to my area, something I want to go for here, like Torrance here. I'm looking at Torrance here. Okay, so I'm like, oh, sub bids only. Okay, so it's due the 15th. That's today. Now look at this here. This is another hack that you can do here. Let's say I love that project, so I click on it. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm gonna go for this one. I like this project. It's commercial, online. Plans are here. Looking for trades for a new 60 bed. I'm looking right here in the description. Okay, looking for trades. Oh, hold up here. Let me a new share here. Oh no, it's there. Okay, so just want to make sure the share is showing. So looking for trades in a new 60 bed memory care facility. So it gives the GC, right? It's a new construction, right? On new construction, I don't have the crew to really go for the foundation, so I'll just bid on the site work for a project like this. Okay, on this particular, anyone can sign up for the AGC. Okay, they're going to charge you. AGC is a place where they help you they help contractors train their employees. Okay, they offer different safety programs like OSHA 10, OSHA 30. They do traffic control programs and all other type of confined space and things like that. Trench safety, how high the ladder needs to be out of trench and things like that. They provide training for your employees, and you pay a monthly fee for it. And they're well recognized, and they have a footprint in a lot of projects across the nation. You will hear about them if you haven't already. Once you get into the public works and large commercial sector, you will hear about AGC. Okay, they have they're on the political side. They help put people in office and all sorts of things. So this project here, I'll look up this project, look at the activity, see who's checked this thing out, who's bidding on it. A lot of people is looking at this bad boy. You see here, okay, and basically that's what I'll do there. Okay, now and then I'll find out who I need to. Oh, what I wanted to say is this. So let's say this project here is due 11/15. That's actually due today. So we're out of it, right? Well, I'll actually call that general contractor, actually speak to the estimator if I can find his number, if I can find his name on here. If not, I'll call that company and actually speak to the estimating department, and I'll name this project so I can be directed to a person that's over it. Hey, this is Tyrone Jones. I'm with TA Jones Concrete, AMW Construction, whatever company you're with. It's a few of my partnerships. Max Out Asphalt. I'm calling to speak with the estimator that's over Torrance Memory Care, and I'm also looking at turning in the bid in this project. Can you put me in contact with the estimator that's dealing with this project? No problem, sir. And you do it as urgent as possible. That way they don't question nothing. They don't, they're not that usual gatekeeper, let me transfer you to his voicemail, let me give you his email type of response. And then they give you to the estimator. Do you want to make it quick? Hey, buddy, I'm just working on some numbers for this. I'll be finished with these numbers here in a short time. Can you allow for me to get 6 more hours on this, man? 2 more hours on this, man. Another hour on this. What can I get from you on this? And I do it all the time, because the due dates here is not really the due dates that they need to turn their bids in. Okay. Now, mind you, once you do that, you're going to be pushing time on their end. So you're going to need to be serious about what you're doing and what you're asking for, because you can really damage the relationship this way. But I have done it several times. Hey, give me a little bit more time and I got you. And sometimes you'll find out the estimator say, you know what? I don't even have no numbers. Give me numbers, man. I'm counting on you. And that's what you're looking for. Once an estimator says, I'm counting on you, give me numbers, I don't have them, that's your time for your company to get in, because whoever they were using before now is not coming through. Your time to get in. Okay. So these are jobs that you can bid on. So also too, here's another example. Now that company is doing a competitive bid. Now I'm only turning in that bid to one company. That's the thing. And it's a commercial project, so you may not find it. You will not find it on the city website. You only find the public works jobs on the city website. The commercial job, where would I find this commercial job at? The only place you will most likely find it on is the Dodge Report. Now, a Dodge Report, the reason why I signed up with the Dodge Report is because it allows me to bid on projects. It allows me to bid on more of a wide range of projects as a general contractor. So that's why I went for the Dodge Report. These projects here will allow me to bid on more projects as a sub, versus a GC. So I'm new to this one here, but this is the same concept. All of them are basically the same. You get the project info. A lot of times you get the budget number. Sometimes they give you the budget number here on the Dodge Report. I've been looking at these. They tell you what stage it's in. Dodge Report, you'll see a lot of planning stages. BlueBook and AGC projects are ready to go. They got a bid date, and they sometimes giving you the start date as well. But this one here, you see a wide range of projects, So if you're an architect or you're maybe a manufacturer, you can get in these projects in these beginning phases. As a manufacturer, you can get in. This is where manufacturer gets in, where they're listed within the specs and things like that. So if that's your game, that's your end game, then that's where you get in at. And this is the type of subscription you need. Now, if you're just going for stuff as a sub, you can easily go with the AGC or the BlueBook, and both of these are fairly priced. I have dealt with to back in the day where I had renovation experts, where they were just sending me leads when I was real small guy, which was a mess. This was years ago though. I have done a bid clerk as well. I was doing bid clerk when they were back in, I don't know if they were new at it, but they were a lot different than they are now. I've done home advisor. I even use home advisor now to find subcontractors at times, but I have been a home advisor person where I've gotten leads from home advisor doing residential work. They don't let them fool you. They don't have any commercial work. Okay, so let's get back to this. So all those, I only say that to say all these platforms are similar. Okay, give you the project name, give you due dates, give you plans, give you specs, and you have to figure out how to hack that and where you're going to be at. And remember, figure out where you're at as a company and where you want to go as a company, and spend more time in hacking, finding the right project. That way, once you put it into your bidding system, you're blowing through those projects. Okay. And you want to find, like, at least 3 to 5 projects, and just go ahead and sit down, turn those numbers out. And I guarantee you, if those projects are for you, and you found a hack, and you know how to re-engineer this thing, you're going to land more projects. It's going to spend more time finding the right project. You're going to land more projects instead of just doing numbers. Instead of just doing numbers at projects that you really don't want, projects that you really don't want to do, and things like that. Look at this one. This one says El Cerrito Auto Dealership Apartment Development delayed. Man, that sounds like a nice one there. Office addition and remodeling. See. And then sometimes you'll see here, a few of them started already. That one started. See here, bid date 12/18. So electrical substation transformer addition. You'll see some of them here say GC bidding. So see, it's the bidding stages. And some of them are looking for GC. Some of them are looking for subcontractors. But right now, I'm looking for the ones that are looking for GCs. And remember, no matter where you're looking at, if they're city jobs, most likely they're public works, unless they fall under about 25 grand. Then a lot of times that public works don't come into effect, I believe, at under 25 grand projects. Trying to find a GC bidding one, because this is the main reason. Oh, here it is right there. It's the main reason why I got this here. So here's a GC bidding. So let's just say, here's the example here. I'll take this project and I'll say, you know what? I want this project. Then I'll take this project and I'll list it for free on AGC or the BlueBook to get more subs to bid on that, on the whatever portions I may need. So it's an ADA barrier removal. Not much work involved in the subs there, but I may look for a crane person, someone to bring in a crane to help me move those barriers. I may look at a striping person, because once you remove the barriers, most likely you got to remove striping and put new striping in, because those barriers have been removed. So I may look for a signage and striping company, and that's what you use that. You take this bid here, and that's what a lot of these companies here are putting it into other bids, okay? Putting it into other platforms to get attention of subcontractors in different areas, looking at the project, looking at the amount, look at this one's 10 mil, pre-qualified GCs to bid, to owner. And then some of these projects call for you to be pre-qualified. So you have to fill out the pre-qualification package. Sometimes it's extensive, and sometimes it's small. So you always want to look into it. Fire stations, I don't know much about doing a pre-qualification form. I didn't bid it on fire stations. Didn't have to do much of a pre-qualification, one pager. But I didn't bid on schools where they wanted to know your wife's social, and just dig into your mother's maiden name. And I'm a little bit exaggerating, just trying to make it a little bit extreme, because it's extreme on some of the things that they want to know about the GC, because you're taking care of a lot. It's a $10 million project. So they want to know everything about you, what you have done, what you're doing, letter from your banks, verified income, and things like that. Bonding status, definitely. And that's what you're going to be looking at on that. So me right now, I'm looking for more GC work, more probably around $1 million and under. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a mill and under, and I don't care if it's out of state. One of the hacks that I laid out probably about a year ago, even 2 years ago, I put on YouTube was that sometimes when I send my crew out of town, I may send a 4-man crew out of town, 2-man crew out of town. Instead of me buying a yard somewhere and paying X amount of dollars for a full month, I have also rented storage space. There's times where I've rented a space, a parking stall at a storage unit, and there's times I've rented a ground unit for 2 weeks. And they were just looking to rent that thing out, got it for cheap. And my guys, we was able to get in there at 7 a.m. They closed at 7 or 9, and it was a good thing. So you can look into that too. Instead of just buying yards or renting out, someone's place, you can also use the nearest storage facility. So remember that as well. So look at what what you can handle, the type of work, when it starts, the bid date, the evaluation. Here's a $50,000 jobs, GCs to owner. Looks like this, 2015 MUED office modification. So it's a remodel. So, excuse me. See, it seems like it's new. It's published the 15th, bid date. Oh, that's kind of weird there. If it's published new, why is the bid date on the 15th? See, it's a new thing that I'm into with this one here. See, start. Says the 15th, but published date now is the 18th. Maybe they resubmitted it. And it gives you the who got awarded the construction project. So this type of project here, I'll go ahead and give that GC a call to find out if they're looking, maybe someone fell off, maybe they're looking for some other stuff, maybe now they're getting ready to start this thing, and maybe they fell off. I'm not sure. I would definitely look into maybe reaching out to the city of Redlands engineering department, or this R Dependable Construction Incorporated, reaching out to them, figure out where they're at with things. That's what I would do. Yeah. So that's all I have to share there. 3 different type of websites, what I usually do, what I usually look for, what they're really about, and what you can get from them. Hopefully you enjoyed this. You have any questions, list of questions there. I know I didn't cover everything. I know I probably left a ton of things out because there's so much information into estimating, bidding, finding projects, specs, reading specs, insurance, everything. And one day I'll do a video on each of those things and talk your head off for an hour. Okay. Until then, I would say, hopefully you enjoyed it. You learned something. If you have, let me know. Let me know you learned something. Okay. Leave a comment. And also don't forget to subscribe. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out our website. Remember, we can help you out with insurances, bonding. That's workers' comp, general liability, auto, even to be bondable, like I said. And if you want to know more about doing public works projects, or even have trouble figuring out what website to choose, where you would like to find projects from, because you want to jump into the commercial world, hit us up. Let me know. Call my office. You might even get me, and I'll let you know what's going on. Okay. Have a good one. Thanks for participating. Thanks for your time. See you on the next one. Don't forget, hustle hard, then hustle harder. I'm out.